Hello YouTube. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. The lovely Kelly and I recently took a trip through Wyoming, and on that trip we grabbed videos of interesting unloved autos that we spotted. I thought that I would patch them together into one video and post it and see if anyone likes it. Enjoy. Behold, the Mitsubishi 3000 GT, unrusted, sitting on the highways and byways of Cheyenne, Wyoming. Very impressive specimen. On the rainy, mean streets of Cheyenne, Wyoming, check out the color on this Mustang GT. I like it. Check out this bug, all kinds of things on there. Wave. See way back. Here we have a sad town car with a fake convertible roof that's really seen better days, and a very saggy suspension. Poor thing. No rust though. What's going on here? Here we have an old Forester from our friends at Subaru. I don't know exactly what year that is. 80s, 90s, I would guess. A little more homely in those days with the tall windows. This is a fine example though. Here we are in Wyoming with no rust. Well done. Behold, the Chevy Nova. The much unloved Chevy Nova. The Toyota Corolla rebadged. Late 80s. Don't see many of those. Here we have an old Jeep. It looks like it may have been a mail truck or something, not sure. It certainly is an oddly framed up door. I like the tire in the front. And behind it is some big truck that says it's a fire truck of some sort. Pretty neat, been sitting there a while. Here we have an 85 or 86 Mercury Cougar. Boy, this thing has seen better days. Paint, wheel covers again, missing a whole taillight. But surprisingly not super rusty once again. What's going on here? Here is one that's after my Mercury loving heart. A 90s Mercury Tracer. No wheel covers, bad paint, bad headlights, still running. Daily use, it looks like. Approved. From the beginning of the return of the retro Mustangs, this is probably an 05 or 06, judging from the color, has the optional hood scoop on it. To think that this is now a GT that's 20 years old and semi-collectible, only a few years away from being an actual classic. This time we are parked at the Nicolaitan Art Museum in lovely Casper, Wyoming. I guess this is their art truck sitting out front. Looks like a early 90s F-150. All kinds of artsy-fartsy things on it. Crazy. I guess it just sits here. They should drive it. I walked by and couldn't miss this one. Is that a Mazda 626? 80s vintage? Sure looks like it. We are nearing the end of our trip and running out of candidates for this series, but look at this winner. A Good Times van from the 70s or 80s, not sure. Cool though. Look at that seat cover. Cracked windshield, broken antenna, missing wheel covers. Gotta love it. I just had to get this old Delta 88 for the weird paint. Looks like somebody took a spray can or something and just kind of painted over the bumper and the trunk and part of the roof and part of the door, and big old dent in the door. Poor thing. I bet this old Toyota pickup still runs. Rusted to death, but I bet it runs. Very nice second generation Corvette. Not the kind of thing you just see parked out in front of a house in the middle of nowhere. Maybe that means they're going to take it riding today. Mid-70s Camaro Rally Sport. Looks like he has 80s wheels on it. Very flat tire. It's been there a while. Front clip swapped out at some point. Makes it tougher to tell what year it is. Needs some love. Also on the main drag in Sheridan, Wyoming. This is a used car lot, TTT Sales. Have an early 50s Dodge. Look at those flames. Nice wheel covers. Not a bad interior. Paint's a little rough. Pretty cool though. Right over here next to it we have late 80s, early 90s Eldorado. Look at all that red. That's a red car. And I think this is actually when they changed the name, sort of, and confusingly, to Eldorado ETC, where the ETC stood for Eldorado Touring Coupe. So isn't that redundant? It's the Eldorado Touring Coupe. Still cool though. This may be a little noisy since we're on the main drag in Sheridan, Wyoming. This was too good to resist. Lincoln Mark IV. This would be like what, 72, 73? That bumper, maybe the 74. $6,000 for sale. How do you resist? Look at that Continental kit. An 80s Buick Century wagon. I barely saw these when they were new. Mostly you saw the Chevy versions, a lot of the Olds versions, but not the Buicks. Nice spot. Well, YouTube, we've reached the end of our trip. For my final look at an Unloved Auto, we have my rental car, a nearly new 5,000-mile Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross. Not a bad little car. Held our luggage, had reasonable comfort. Very slow with what I think is a 3-cylinder engine, but it did the trick. No complaints. See you next time.